There has been a dramatic decrease in implementation of the arts in schools and curriculum nationwide, despite all the evidence of the benefits an arts education can have on a young mind.
Unfortunately, the status of arts in schools is, I think, in a lot of districts, they are diminishing. I know in my children's school district, the music programs in elementary are getting smaller. Dance doesn't exist unless it's high school dance team in the local school district. So for the most part, it is being marginalized and getting smaller and smaller, which is a problem for our kids. I think two things happen in K through 12 with budget cuts. They take an arts teacher, whether it's dance, band, choir, instrumental music, and what they do is they start making them itinerant. So where maybe they only had one school, like in the middle schools, now they cut their classes, they make more kids in one class, and then they make that teacher have to go to multiple schools to keep them employed, but it's spreading it thin. I think because we have such a push for STEM, the science and the technology and math and English, like we lose the arts piece, and STEAM is actually more valuable because we learn through movement, we learn through music, we learn through art. But it's just the easiest one, and they tend to be in K through 12 the elective courses, so those teachers in a lot of ways are easier to minimize and limit their role in a school. You're not going to cut an English teacher, but you're going to cut a choir teacher, or cut the number of classes and then make them spread out over various schools.
I think a lot of people don't understand the enlightenment you get from the arts and how it can be connected, and I think a lot of people aren't aware of how it can be integrated into like everyday academic classes.
Just for the basic that art makes you a better citizen, that we have art in our world and we need to kind of be aware of it and be consumers of it. So if we don't introduce our children to it, then all they're going to see is what they can see on their phone, their iPad, or their iPhone, and not appreciate living art, whether it's music, dance, any of those sorts of things. So then the other piece is that we need movement to learn. So if I'm going to talk specifically about dance, that moving the body helps the brain learn. And so when we take a kindergartner and we make them just sit in a seat and sit in a desk, and then again that continues up through the grades, and there's no movement, and now with technology and online gaming and I see it with my own child, that they don't move enough, which then is inhibiting brain patterns and learning patterns. And there's a whole bunch of science that's behind that, but I've seen it in my own kids that don't move enough because they are just on a computer for homework as well as for their entertainment. So we need to move, and that's why dancers tend to be really good students, because we are more integrated, because we have movement as part of our vocabulary.
I just think it helps students understand it on a deeper level. Like sometimes people are kinesthetic learners, so they understand by moving. So when a teacher just is kind of like spitting out knowledge, it's not as helpful to them.
I think overall that, having been in dance my whole life, that the arts overall help. You have to be disciplined to be in the arts, so it teaches discipline. You have to work as a group, whether you're in band, you have to work with the marching band, you have to be aware of people, you have to communicate, there has to be collaboration, there has to be professionalism. So it teaches a lot of life skills that you may not get in other things. So I think that's, as far as life skills, and transferable. So even if you have somebody that's gone and danced their whole life or done music their whole life, when they go out into the career, and maybe they're going into business, now they're in business, but they know how to communicate and they know how to empathize.
Chapman University is taking steps towards creating a more art-centric future. In the Dance Education and Outreach class, students learn how to teach dance and how to apply it to a regular school setting.
I think it builds self-confidence, and I think it makes kids look deeper into themselves and kind of figure out how to express themselves. Last week we taught a integration class that involved teaching erosion with dance, and it sounds crazy, but to watch them understand the concept so deeply was really great for me because I feel like I would have benefited from that in school. So if I can continue to do that and help kids learn, that would be really fun.
The importance of an arts education cannot be understated. There needs to be a shift in the way arts are prioritized in schools to ensure students have the brightest future possible.
We are the destiny.